Welcome back to episode, I think it's 67 now. 67. Troy is back. The gang's back together. It's been a while.
The old crew.
Yeah, it's his first time in my office setup. What do you reckon, man?
I don't mind this new setup.
How good's the tech deck thing from Leah?
It's very cool, but I now want to get him out and play with.
Dude, there's like 6 more up there, like without him, like that aren't in the case. Yeah. So Troy's in. We're talking APL. There's too many fucking what is it called? Abbreviations. APL, Australian Powerlifting League, Western Australian State Championships. We are talking APL WA states. We took a group of 5 lifters up yesterday from the gym. We had Tennille, we had Sally, we had Sean, Nathan, and Jacob Parr, all competing. We're going to run through their day. We're going to run through who had the best day and who I know my new favourite powerlifter is. Maybe Troy's as well. Yeah, we got a new favourite.
I've been following for a while though.
Yeah. So let's go over. Let's start with the girls. So we had both girls in the 82 kilo weight class. Correct me if I'm wrong here, man. It was 82s, right?
Yeah.
So we had Sally and Tennille in the 82s. So Sally moving over from mostly GPC, well, all GPC meets.
She's only done GPCs.
Yeah, novice and GPC. And then Tennille has done a couple of GPCs.
She's done, all novice and GPC.
Yep. So the girls have got rid of the wraps for this competition. No wraps in this competition, and it's a drug-tested federation, unlike the GPC, which isn't drug-tested. So this is a sleeve squat as well. So I think there was a little bit of issues with depth from Sally's point of view. She got called high for her first 2 squats, and to be fair, I thought they were like borderline. I was like, she might not get that, and she didn't. And then the second one, I was like, she won't get that, and she didn't. And then she fixed it up.
She buried it on the third one.
Buried it on the third one and got it. So her back was up against the wall when you're looking at that last squat.
I've never got to that position. That'd be scary.
Like looking at bombing.
Have to get the third to make.
I've done it on bench. I've bombed on bench. But yeah, it was just a depth issue, and she showed that she could get there. A little bit.
She handled it well, I think.
Fuck yeah, she did. Yeah, I think she really did. And I think, it sort of showed that you've got to play what's in front of you on the day. Like you can't get caught up in, I should be doing this, I've done this before. And Tennille sort of did a little bit as well with the temp selections. I know she went a little bit heavier than what you suggested. So you sort of got to play, play the field a little bit, don't you?
You got to play what you get it on the day, don't you?
Yeah, so it can't just be like, I've done this in comp,
so I should just be able to do it.
You go into it saying, I've done this in comp, I'm going to base my numbers off that. But then, like stricter judging, or not feeling so good, or warm up moves slow. That's stuff that you have to take into account. And the more competitions you do, the better you get at it. So Sally ended up just getting her opener on her last. I obviously didn't go up. It was when it comes to depth, I think.
Depth's a big. I saw a couple of people go up, and they did make their list, but if it's depth issue, I wouldn't. For me, I would never go.
There's a reason they didn't squat that low, because they felt they needed to come back up. So which means that it's heavy and it feels heavy. And then Sally ended up 125 on her squat, which was her opener. She got that third attempt. Tennille went 110.
110 opener, which was already a PB.
20.
And then 120 in a second, and then 130. I think, did she go 130 on a third?
I think she did, because I was thinking it should have been about a 125.
Yeah, I was thinking a little less, but I let it. She was already, the way I saw it is that she was already 15 kilos up. So I was like, well, you YOLO it, and then you're sort of already up in a win. I'll let you go for that one. So, I
was just judging off the speed and that sort of sticking point, that halfway up sticking point that normally gets. That slows the bar down for Tennille. So I was thinking 10 kilos was a big jump, and it's a big jump in terms of the percentage of what she's lifting. When it's 120 kilos, it's sort of, what is it? A 10 kilo jump is sort of just less than 10%. It's a big jump.
I think I tried to pull it back to 127. That still didn't work.
So Tennille, listen to your coach next time. Listen to your coach. And on the boys squats, I think Sean did really well. We mentioned it, and I mentioned it this morning with Blakey on our potty. I think Sean did really well to play the field. We said, man, you got to sink it deep. Like after watching the girls squat, I was like, you're not going to get away with like high squats. And when he's high, he's super high.
Yeah.
So
he's got big legs on.
Yeah. So he had to open up those big tree trunks of his, and get that squat down nice and low. So his execution on the day, was really good. So I had him as our, like, it depends who shows up with powerlifting, but he was our only lifter that didn't medal, didn't podium, but I think he had the best day.
Yeah,
so I had him as our best lifter.
Yeah, I was super proud of Sean.
Yeah.
That was such a good day for him.
Especially when, just warming up, I was like, man, it's got to be deeper, and then you sort of see him working so hard to open the hips up and get to depth.
Yeah.
So what did his squats go? He
opened
me through it.
175.
Yep.
Then 190, I think on the second, which was a
I like that jump. 15 kilo jump.
Yeah, we're playing it a little like
safe on the first one.
I was safer on most of people's openers. That was one thing I probably changed to what I've done in the past.
Yep.
And a little bit more aggressive maybe for the second if it was there.
Yep.
And then you get smoke 190 and then 200, which was a 10 kilo PB.
That's his first 200 squat.
200 in sleeves. And he's done it in wraps before.
Yeah.
So he's just equaled his wrap squat in sleeves. So that was a great start for him.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So Jacob went 230.
What is that? No, 215.
215.
And it was on the board all day because it got stuck.
Yeah, that's the one. 215. 230 he got.
230.
Great squat.
He got his second.
And then third squat was like, 500 grams too heavy.
Yeah.
Got him at that sort of 3/4 up sticking point.
Yeah.
I sort of mentioned, I don't know, I find at that point in the squat, which is sort of way past parallel, it's almost that sort of 45 degrees.
It was above that.
Upper lip,
really
like femur. I think like shoving your knees out is can get the bar moving again.
Yeah.
Like shoving your knees out and then it allows your hips to come forward that little bit. That's me. That's my and I know, people will argue whether knees out is a good thing or not, but I feel like you come down into the squat and your knees are out, right? And then as you come up, your knees come back to neutral. And I think when you hit that sticking point, that high sticking point, I think if you think knees out again, it can really help you get that bar moving again, because that's all he needed. All he needed was that, because he was there, he was joking about that sort of almost an isometric hold.
Yeah, he held it a while too.
Yeah, he was there, it felt like 3 or 4 seconds, one Mississippi sort of thing. I just thought if he could just think about shoving those knees out again, it might get the bar moving. That's just me. So I sort of mentioned it to him and he was like, yeah, maybe that is what he needs to sort of think about. Yeah. But that was anything less,
Was that 240, Was on that last?
I think it was 240 that he went for.
Yeah.
And then Big Nate had a 200, what was it? Was it 200 opener?
I can't remember.
I think it was a 200 opener.
200, 210.
And then he missed 220. So Nate's got a real aggressive lifting style, which we're all fucking fans of. And his deadlift has changed a little bit. We've tried to clean it up, but it's still hectic to me.
There's so much power.
There's it's a trade-off. Doesn't seem to get injured. Touch wood. He's got so much aggression when he pulls the way he likes to pull.
Yeah.
He probably might have a little bit of a predisposition to hitch a little bit with that pulling style. But then it seems like when you try and it's like caging an animal sort of thing. When you try and make him lift way more traditionally, and just sort of lose, he can't be as aggressive, and the trade-off isn't worth it.
Yeah.
So we sort of got to a point, and in the prep, and then it was sort of all right, man, we're sort of 4 weeks out.
Just gonna have to stick with his stuff.
His numbers were man, I'm fucking barely lifting, 210, and he wants to be up around 260, 270 with his dead. So I was just just fucking go for it. And his squat's very similar. So his squat's quite fast, but then it seems to just hit the brakes.
Yeah.
So it's real super fast, out of the hole super fast. I feel like there's a little bit of a balance issue there in terms of he seems to want to be going, his body wants to go backwards. He feels like the bar wants to go forwards.
Yeah.
He actually failed a squat at 210 during his prep, which he got his second attempt at 210. He failed it over his head and hurt his shoulder a little bit.
Yeah.
So that sort of tells you what we're seeing is actually happening. Like his body wants to go one way, his knees shoot back out of the hole very quickly.
Yep.
And then when you think about that, like his body's moving, but the bar's not moving as quickly. And then it seems like to him underneath the bar, it seems like everything wants to shove him forward.
Yeah, that's it.
What I'm seeing, I feel like he's just like, it just looks like he's going to step back a lot.
Yep.
And it's the same thing. It's like, do we slow his squat down and do we lose that aggression?
Yeah.
Because he's like, no man, I don't want to hang around at the bottom. So he's just like big breath in and out, which I love.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we got the 2
season thing. We can sort of implement a few little things, maybe
tempos and pause.
It's
tempos and pause squats. So really, isn't it? That's the fix for him.
Yeah.
So that's squatting. Moving on to bench press. Even like I was pumped for this comp, but bench press still.
Oh, it's always the same.
Bench press still stung me.
It's the intermission. It's always boring.
I went and got you hungry.
I'm even doing bench press.
I went and got you hungry jacks, thinking I was for ages, and I missed one one flight, and I was
probably
like,
just hung out waiting till it.
Bro, I was like, did I only miss one flight? I was like, here's your bacon deluxe, bro. I should have stayed longer.
Yeah.
So bench press.
That felt forever too, waiting for that hungry jacks.
Dude. There was so many cars there.
Yeah.
Like I went and ordered mine. I was going to sit there. I was like, I won't order yours now. I'll get it when I leave, so it's nice and warm for you. Because you know, I'm a nice guy like that. And then I was like, oh, like this whole family started coming. I was like, fuck it, I'll go drive through. And then went around to the drive through. There's so many cars, and then I was like, oh, there's 2 lanes as well. So it took forever, but bench took even longer than forever. So bench press. The girls went. Sally opened on 60, missed 70. So her back was up against the wall again on bench press. Like she was looking at just getting her opener again.
Yep.
To miss a bench press and then get a bench press, I feel is quite hard.
That's a great effort. That's hard. That's always hard to do. So.
Yeah, a lot harder than a squat, a lot harder than like even a deadlift sometimes. Like, when you miss a bench press.
When you hit that wall on a bench press, you're like,
Sal missed 70 and then got it again. And then Tennille went, what'd she go, 55? I actually got her to do that out the back as well. I know you were on the platform coaching. I was like, yeah, do that. And she was like, I think she knew it was her opener. I was like, you'll be right. And she did it. And like, you just see that she was real confident.
50, I've seen her do up to 57 so easy.
Yeah.
Like it's not an effort at all. And then it hits that 60 to 62.
Yeah.
And just, it's so different. Like it's so hard. Like she can rep out 52 to 55 really quite comfortably.
I think a few things for Tennille, hopefully she has a listen, would be starting to work on getting that chest up a lot more, like really starting to push into a more advanced powerlifting technique. At the moment it's quite just sort of that feet are planted, shoulders back and down, that little bit, but I think she can start to really try and get some arching going, lift that chest to the ceiling.
Just get a little more control on that eccentric phase.
Yeah, train with the hand out more as well.
Yeah.
I feel like, I know she didn't take a hand out on comp day. I was handing her out in the warm up, but train with the hand out just so you can keep that tension a lot more.
Yeah.
You see people that are like, it's easier to lose tension when you're lifting out yourself because you do that sort of lift out and reach and your shoulder blades are apart and then you've got to struggle to get them back and together, which not everyone knows how to do or does.
Yeah.
So that's that. I think that like
there's a lot of potential for that. That's very big because it's still
huge.
Yeah, she did it quite easy enough. She still didn't PB on that either, so she did. I think she did 60 on her second,
and then missed the third.
62 on her third, which she's done 62 in the gym a few times before, and I think she's even done it at comp too. So
so I think that's something that Tennille could probably, add to her bench press game as well. Talk me through Jacob's bench. Or should we just skip it? Because he basically
he wants us to talk about it. I still can't give a shit because he still benched more than me too, but only just. So I think what did he open on?
120?
No, he went. Did he open one? I thought he might have gone 112.
Wait, what did he miss?
No, maybe he did open on 120.
How many benches did he miss? 2.
I'm trying to remember. I know he did 120. I can't remember if that was on his first or his second.
And then he missed his third.
He missed 127, so I think that might have been his third. That might have been 120 on his second, 127 on his third.
Well, that's not that bad then.
Well, he's done 127 before.
Yeah, shit.
So he's benching the same.
I thought he missed I thought he only got his opener.
Yeah, no, I think he got his first and second on every different day.
Oh, that's not that bad.
So he just missed his thirds.
That's not that bad.
Yeah.
And then Sean went. Fuck, Sean shouldn't have gone 3 from 3 on bench press. We just I'm chopping together like a bit of a video, and we saw how fucking.
It's quite nice to us.
We saw how fucking high his ass was up off the bench. He must have kept one cheek on the other bench on the far side because he's doing a glute bridge on that third one, bro. So. But what did Sean end up with on bench press?
So he went 115 opener.
Yep.
120 on his second, and 125.
Yep.
So he did a lot better than his I think last comp year, and he's had some shoulder issues.
Okay.
From his work, and we've been trying to slowly rebuild that bench again because I think he benched 132 his first comp.
Oh shit.
And he's had some shoulder issues that just threw off his stability big time. Like it was every time he was benching, it was like coming up on a 30-degree angle sort of thing.
It's not easy like when you've got that like Sally's the same, she does a lot of overhead work for work, and like she'll come in and it's like fucking shoulders are cooked, and it's like you just got to, it's not deal with it, it's just like you got to deal with, alright, take a little bit of weight off. Like, because the last thing you want to do is fucking cook them again, injure yourself, because then like work's impacted, you don't want that shit. Just for lifting some weight, so it is pretty tough. I like, there's plenty of things you can implement, like more lower intensity work, less high intensity work, that sort of stuff. But bench is a fickle mistress, as we know. And then Nato went. Oh, Nate had. He's getting his shoulder checked from when he stacked it with 210 squatting in the gym. Hurt his shoulder, so his sort of bench went from around like pushing towards that 140 mark. He didn't bench. I think he benched 125. Was the heaviest he benched after doing his shoulder, and he could barely control it to his chest. Sort of get to halfway and it just wanted to collapse on him. So he didn't bench at all the last sort of 2 weeks-ish. I just said, man, just manage the pain. Just like move around if you feel like you can, but like I just stay off it. So he benched 105. He could still feel like the niggle there.
You could tell as he was pulling it down to him, you could see he was uncomfortable.
A little bit of, I think it might be like the old long-headed biceps or something like that, rotator cuff base. So he ended up still hitting a 125 bench to put him clear of everyone else on subtotal. So he did what he had to do. I was like, man, you could probably get away with 2 benches. He actually sort of needed that third. If he didn't hit that third, it would have been like the deadlifts would have got interesting. He would have had to
pull something pretty big for the win.
He would have had to pull. Would have been a tie on body weight. It would have come down to body weight, or he would have had to pull something more than what he did, which he tried to do, and he probably had a little bit less in him. So he might have been able to do it, but it would have got pretty close for podium.
For sure,
so that's bench press. Where are we at? What's after that?
Deadlifts for the girls, I guess then.
Deads for the girls. So we had Tennille starting around, what did she start on? 110? 120?
What did she start on? I think it was 117. No, 122, sorry.
122? Yep. I feel like Tennille's got a habit of the bar too close, meaning her hips end up that little bit high. That's a fine way to deadlift, but like this is us like sort of fine tuning, like cherry on top sort of thing. I hope you don't think we're picking on you, Tennille, if you're listening. So just these little things to pick up. I mean, that's what we're doing as like coaches, right? We're supposed to pick up on these little things. So we sort of mentioned it, and I'm not a big one for mentioning technical points at a comp, in a comp. And we both sort of did highlight it after our second attempt, that we needed to bring that bar over the midfoot a little bit more to get a little bit more knee bend, which is going to allow to use her quads off the floor a little bit more. But it didn't quite go that way. So shins still stayed vertical, and hips still stayed at the same height. So Tennille, when we see you in the gym and you're deadlifting next, we're going to go over it with you. We'll make sure that you know what we're talking about.
I think poor old Tennille, and I've gone through this whole thing with the deadlift too. Like, she had that problem of her hips being too low. So you end up in that squatty position, then your hips start to rise.
The bar shifts around and stuff.
So then we're like, no, your hips have got to be higher. Then she'd have her hips
that
too high. So it's just trying to get that in between that, hips too low, hips too high, where you're right over midfoot, So
that midfoot sets everything off though.
Yeah.
As soon as it's too close, the shins are too vertical, hips are too high, it's going to be an all back style deadlift, which is fine for some people.
Yeah.
And like
Tennille you get found out, did they?
Yeah, Tennille got away with that on the first and second attempts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it does become like a big old back movement.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can get, that bar over the midfoot, some sort of like positive shin angle, so knees start to come forward that little bit till your shins touch the bar, and it sets everything up from there.
That leg press into the ground.
Yeah, leg press through the floor.
Yeah.
So Sally had a 160 opener, nailed it. 175, nailed it. We went to go 182.5 for a PB. I think the harshest call of the day for our crew. Like, I was honest, I was like, I don't, like those squats were kind of borderline with her squats. I was like, I wasn't surprised that you got called red.
Yeah.
And after like figuring out the judges after the first attempts, I was like, yeah.
Especially because that was quite consistent with everyone I felt too. So.
Yeah, so I was like, nah, I was happy with that. But the call on her third dead, I was like, looking back, I was like, there's not a hitch.
Did you actually ask for?
Nah, man. I think it has to be soft lockout, which is kind of a tough one because if you haven't locked it out while you're getting the down command and then red lighted from the head ref.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that.
Yeah,
I probably should have asked straight away.
How many reds?
I thought it was for
on the sides then.
Middle and side.
Yeah. Okay.
So I thought it was for hitching. Like I was like, it's for hitching, and sort of just went back and chatted to her and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we sort of looked at it and I was like, well, it can't be for hitching because it's clearly not hitched. So soft lockout maybe, but I think she's still pretty happy that she knows it's like there. She's thereabouts. And that's 182.5 at 82 kilos body weight.
Yeah.
So that's starting to be fucking huge, man. That's literally starting
to get like.
Dude, it's like eyeballing 200.
Yeah, she's getting there,
It is it's still a long way off, but
I don't know.
you start.
Because her tech, like she's
Dude, I have said nothing for like 2 years for Sally's deadlift.
Yeah, you don't need to say it. It always looks good. So.
Yeah, there was one national, and she knows, like nationals in 2019, she started doing a little bit of like a bar roll away, roll in sort of thing. And I was like, no, fuck, cut that out.
Yeah.
Man, it's been it's very A to B, and now I feel like she's even started to figure out that low shoulder position in her lockout.
Yeah.
Which might have unstuck her yesterday, but it looks like the bar's moving less, which is actually which is actually what you want on the deadlift. So Sal ended up missing the 182, still walks away with 175 as a second attempt, which is pretty fucking hectic, really.
Yeah.
And that's only 5 off her PB. Like she's done 180 once in the gym, once on the platform, once before that in the gym, I think. So 3 times now.
Yep.
So I was like, man, 175 moved enough. Go 182. Even I was like maybe even 185. Like.
Yeah. Right.
And like I just sort of say, like, we know you can grind reps out. So.
Yeah, that's it.
Normally.
You can trust in it to go, hard at it on that, and technique's going to hold up still well, so.
Yeah. On to the boys.
Yep.
Now, we need to talk about Jacob's little baby hands.
He must have small hands. I haven't had a look at him, so.
I don't know. The thing with, he's not shaped like a sumo deadlifter.
No.
He's got huge quads that get in the way.
Yeah, they do get in the way, don't they?
And they seem to undo his overhand grip. So,
hook grip.
Does he hook grip the overhand grip, or does he go double overhand hook grip for his deadlifts? I think he has tried that before and didn't like it, or like wasn't a fan, or
yeah.
I'm not sure. Does he need to hook grip, or does he need to play around with a narrower grip?
Yeah, maybe that's.
So there's less time where his hand is in contact with his quad.
It's pretty hard to get away from his quads.
They're very big.
Fair bit
they
of
are very big. I know when I've played around with just different stances and overhand grip, that even double overhand sometimes, because I don't have huge long arms or anything in proportion to the rest of me, I know there's been times where even with hook grip it feels like it's undoing your fingers.
Yeah.
And even more so with just a normal mixed grip.
Yep.
So I feel like there's something there, and I
like
don't.
the slightly wider grip. I think that's
Yeah, so
actually
maybe
better.
something like that. You just got to find that position where his hand ends up on his quad a little bit less. So a lot of good sumo lifters will, well, the shit hot ones, their hands won't even be on their legs.
Yeah.
And some of them will have like
locked out of the kneecaps.
It sort of hits their quad and they're locked out there.
Yeah.
But Jacob's of the variety of the shape where he sort of hits his quads and then he's got like
still got a
few inches to get to lockout.
Yeah.
And then it's just like bar and hand on quad, and I think that is his undoing. I want to have a bit of a longer chat to him about it. See what James is.
Because you look at it, it was travelling. It looks, that's where he's got it, and that's 2 comps in a row now. You're like,
dude, I've never not seen him get thrown off a bar like that with his deadlifts.
Yeah.
And we sort of make jokes, and it's good that he's not like
same exact facial expression.
Yeah, he's just
the
like,
same way.
But I feel like he knows he's got a lot of comps in the future, and there's like these are weights that he's going to be able to do pretty easily one time. And it's just
his attitude's great too. He just puts a smile on his face.
I like it. I like it where Blakey's starting to do it. Jacob's done it. It's like, I'm just going to enter a comp. I'm just going to do something out of nowhere. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
AJ's rubbing off on him.
Yeah.
So I think James will get
relaxed about it. It was good.
James will get around fixing up that. I don't think it's just going to be like do like grip strength stuff, and I think it's more like a placement and timing and stuff that's going to get him.
Yeah.
We might have to have a look at how big his hands are. So Jacob ended up dropping 250, which was going to be a big. That would have been a PB for him, right?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure he's pulled 250 in the gym.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of times. Oh no, he didn't do it this prep this time around, but I think he did last time.
Well, his prep was like 3 weeks long this time, which is.
I'm pretty sure he still dropped the bar then too. To be honest. So.
All right.
So yeah, I'm not sure what his PB is, but he's definitely what he's pulled in comp. He can pull a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't think it's probably around the 230, 240, but.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out for him. Us and James, we'll put our heads together. Then moving on to Sean. Another good day on deads. What did he end up deadlifting?
His deadlift's really improved like this over the last 6 to 8 weeks coming into the comp. He had that he's been really tough to get out of that strongman style deadlift. We're rolling the bar.
Yeah.
Just hitching it like crazy. So it took us a bit of time to start getting what I call more of a powerlifter sort of style deadlift.
Yeah.
And it just started to really click with him. So
fix him up with some RDLs. Well, RDL. What was the?
It's weird actually. The biggest thing I think that helped him, he wanted to try sumo for a little bit.
Yeah.
So we did some sumos, and they didn't really work for him, but he was enjoying just having a challenge with it.
Yeah.
But I think he really learned how to take the slack out properly out of the bar through sumoing.
Okay, cool.
So that when he went back to conventional.
So I need to get Nate to do some sumos then.
Yeah, maybe that's the.
What's the chances of that?
Yeah, that'd be really watch actually. I can't even imagine doing a sumo. But yeah, sort of that helped him with his timing with the taking slack out of the bar and.
Yep.
So that really improved his deadlift, and a couple of things just clicked with being able to. He's just getting his position to be over that midfoot a little bit better and not rolling the bar.
Yeah.
I was really confident he was going to pull something bigger on his deadlift. We went 185 on his opener.
Yeah.
200 probably didn't move as good as I saw it move in the gym.
Yeah.
I was thinking 210 was probably going to be 10 kilo PB.
Yeah.
But he ended up going, let's just go 205. And at that stage, it was smart. 8 from 8. And Sean's really good with his temp selections, actually. He's really smart with it too. So we had a chance for the 9 for 9. And if you've seen Sean's last 2 comps, he hasn't been anywhere close to 9 from 9. Like little things that he's done wrong with missing commands and stuff like that. So I was so proud.
There was none of that, eh?
What's that?
None of that from our crew.
No, they actually, you're right. That's
good.
They were really good with all the command stuff. So, so 205 locked in that 5 kilo. PB.
I didn't even yell out, listen to the calls to anyone. That's like a novice comp thing.
I did for sure.
Did you?
Or bench I was like, wait for those calls.
That's a novice comp.
Yeah, it is.
Just like fucking, I'm gonna get a shirt, mate.
Yeah.
Listen to the calls on a t-shirt. NATO's deads went. He's always on. Like he loves a deadlift.
Yeah.
What did he hit? 250.
250 opener. It was a big opener, wasn't it? The opener.
Yeah, to be fair, looking back, he probably chucked that down a bit, just to save himself for his last 2 attempts.
Yeah, but it's funny, you watch him do it, and it was like, it looked like an open still. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That was so easy for him.
So, we've played around a little bit with Nato's technique, trying to clean it up, and I wouldn't say clean it up, but make it more traditional. But like I said, the trade-off...
Well, he's another one that's come from a strongman style.
Yeah,
as well.
The trade-off that he gets from making it more traditional and losing his ability to be aggressive with it isn't worth it at this point. So it's changed. It's looking a little bit better. One thing I harped on about was making sure the bar was stationary, like as it's leaving the ground. So making sure it's not rolling forward, rolling backwards, getting kicked away by shins, anything like that. Yeah. So I was like, man, if you're gonna do, he does like a hectic version of the old Lily Bridge 3 pump. Like legs straight, legs bent, legs straight,
and
legs
that's when
bent.
sometimes you get that little bit of push in the bar forward.
If you're too dynamic with it, you can shin the bar forward a little bit and set you off. But so that's one thing that I said, like, man, go for broke if that's letting you be aggressive with it, but just make sure that bar's staying still before you pull. Went 250, 260, and then sent it for 272 because he sort of had the win.
600 pounder.
Yeah, that 600 pounder, and he had the win sort of wrapped up off his second. He was still 5 clear, and the other guys were still just trying to eke out a little bit. Yeah. So I think he was 22 behind after squat and bench. And
22 in front, of the other guy.
No, behind.
Oh, okay.
And then he opened his bench.
Because his deadlift was so much bigger than the other guy. Yeah.
Bigger than the other guy. So I sort of said, like, that's where I was like, you might get away with 1 or 2 benches, and then like in the end he wouldn't have. So he needed to do all those 3 benches, so bench was actually perfect for him.
Yep.
And then he went for 272, and it moved way better than what I thought. I was like, fuck, man, like, I didn't think it's there, but he's already won, and he was like, fuck, we're not, not here to fuck for spiders sort of thing. He wanted to rip, so...
That's a line that he would probably say too.
100%. 100%. So I sort of, I said, yeah, man, go nuts. Like, I just let him do his selections.
Those last deadlifts, sometimes if someone says that I think I can do this, you sort of go, okay.
Yeah. He'd already wrapped up first. He's he's already missed a squat. He's not trying to go for 9 for 9. Like, he's got, I don't think there was even like a total in his mind. It was just like, I want to deadlift that. Like, let's have a crack at it. Man, he got way closer than what I thought.
He did very,
way closer, and then just a bit of balance.
Yeah.
I think he might have ended up hitching it a bit. Because it started to get that, like, everything just started going backwards. It nearly went through the fucking banner.
He did, It was a good effort. It was a really good effort on that.
Yeah. So great effort. I think it was a great effort across, like, it was sort of a mixed bag of lifting, but everyone's attitude, the way they held themselves.
The Smith's crew.
And it's like, from a gym owner, it's always good to sort of see, like, none of our crew are acting like knobheads or too good for it. They're all chatting with people, like getting amongst the competition, having a laugh, taking their lifting seriously, but like having fun. It makes those competitions enjoyable to go to. And after going to a lot, man, like, some of them do get a little bit stale. There is like bits of, like, it's a long day. Like, that was like the perfect amount of lifters, I find. You know what I mean? Like, that was spot on. You could give everyone a little bit of, like, attention and not have to be like, oh, so-and-so will look after themselves. Like, everyone's sort of...
So much easier not having to deal with the old rap situation. So
fuck raps off, man.
Let's just do APL.
Remember those cops on rapping like 4 girls in the same flight? Fuck that noise, man.
That's it.
So it was really enjoyable. Another really well run competition up there. So that's the APL.
It was cool to see the growth of that comp.
Yeah, man.
I think I went to the one the year before. And there was like 5 girls in total competing. And just watching the 67s alone was like, a good battle for 5 or 6 girls in just that weight class. So it's much more competitive sort of.
You want to have that full podium at least. Like, hopefully you get at least 4. Like, it's one of those sports that you're not gonna dance around the fact that there's empty podiums. Like, I've got a bronze medal in there that I didn't earn. I came like 80 kilos, 100 kilos behind. I don't think that's lost on anyone, but you at least want to get GoPro playing up on me again. Powerlifting is one of those sports, and I mean, like, if you're super light, there's going to be less competitors. Like, or even sometimes when you're super, super heavy,
Yeah,
even though powerlifting does lend itself towards that.
If you're right smack bang in the middle, you always usually have some competition.
Yeah.
90 kilo guy.
The 80s, the
75
90s.
kilo chick or whatever, you're going to get some competition.
Yeah.
So.
Some of the lifters that were up there, man, like there was numerous 300 kilo deadlifts. This is so, for me, that's like so impressive.
Yeah.
And it's not taking anything away from other federations or other lifters, but it's just showing how impressive that they are. Like obviously we do a bit of a comparison between the two because we've been to GPC competitions.
Yeah.
This is our first sort of foray to coaching at APL comp, and it's like, man, some of these lifts are so impressive when you take into consideration that hopefully these guys haven't been using gear, they're not on, you know, they're not on performance enhancers, anything like that. So there was 1, 2, 3. Callum tried 4. So there was like 4 or 5 attempts at over 300 deadlifts.
Yeah,
wasn't there?
Okay.
But I don't think there was a 300 squat. Was it close?
I think the guy that bombed.
Big fella, Sheen.
I think he had a crack at 300, didn't he?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he deadlifted 312, 317.
I like
That's a big deadlift for a big boy. You know, sometimes when they get that big, like the squat becomes the big one.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, he's pulling that still. So I didn't actually see his squats.
Good on him for getting up and doing it after bombing too, and just being like,
Yeah.
I've never bombed. I always like to think that I'd still keep going and go, you know what, just let's have some fun.
Yeah.
I'll prep myself for this.
Yeah.
But, you know, I never know.
Depends
you never
where
know
you,
the situation.
Depends where you bomb as well. Like I bombed on bench once and still did my deadlifts.
Yeah, right.
That was just a novice.
If I bombed on squats, I'd probably just skip
bombing
bench and go do some deadlifts.
Bombing on squats and stuff. But yeah, the caliber of lifter up there. So Callum Gibbons, probably the one most people would know, I think.
Yeah.
He's been around a fair while.
Yeah.
So he won the 90s pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then I missed the lighter girls, to be fair. I didn't see much of that flight lifting.
Yeah.
The overall winner.
You sort of...
I was warming up with the other girls for the next. So the overall winner was from the lighter girls, was from the 75s. 67s.
Yeah.
Okay,
I haven't seen much of her, but yeah, she was really strong.
Yeah.
One of Brian's clients. She did really well.
Yeah. The overall for the men was Derek Butcher.
Yeah.
My new favourite powerlifter.
He's nice dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard you chatting to him a little bit about how he'd done some PA stuff.
Yep.
And that 700 was really his big focus.
Yep.
I've been following him on Instagram for a little bit and just like loving his deadlifts.
Yeah, his deadlifts are...
Fuck, his deadlifts are gone, man.
Callum's as well. Like there's a few boys that can such good sumo pullers.
Yeah, man. So even Josh as well.
Yeah, he's got a great sumo too.
Yeah. So those boys are pulling sumo, but Derek was, I don't know, just the way he locked it out for that. I think it was 295 at 82 to get a 700 total in the 82s.
Execution on it was just...
And then he nearly fucking jumped through the ceiling, jumped through the banner. He was pumped.
Yeah.
I was like, I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love that shit. And even just the way he went about it was like quite quiet, didn't say much.
Yep.
And then just fucking
guy,
just ripped in, man.
Yeah, he's really impressive.
So he's my new favourite powerlifter.
Yeah. It looks like a bit of a punk rocker dude too.
Yeah,
something down for that too. So.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So shout out to Derek. I think it's Derek, what is it, like Derek B Powerlifting on Instagram?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a gun. So hopefully we get around a few more of these APL comps. I think the next big one's Nationals, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a Nationals comp coming up. Not here though. I think it's over.
Yeah, but given most of the crew down here, pretty much everyone doesn't take performance enhancers, I think it's probably
something we should start to
that we should push them towards is to go into a drug tested federation.
Yeah.
If there's going to be competition, if there's fuck all people there, and it's just like you just getting empty golds and shit, then I don't think it's the right move.
Yeah.
But if there's as many numbers as there was yesterday, I feel like we should push the guys who are that way inclined. And it's not taken away from anyone who wants to do what they want to do and compete in the GPC. Fucking rip in.
Yeah,
but it's just leveling the playing field a little bit
Yep.
for those crew that, like I said, are that way inclined, and giving them somewhere to compete. But that's a key word, somewhere to compete.
Yeah.
Not just somewhere to show up, chuck up a couple of PBs and walk away, you know, as like winning the gold.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can, Smith's Fitness can be part of like growing the APL a little bit.
Yeah.
Alongside, you know, sending a crew up to GPC meets as well.
Yeah, I think both of them.
Even
yeah,
Troy's thinking.
Yeah, there was some 75 kilo lifters. I would have been a fun day.
Would you have won?
I don't know, because I haven't tested my sleeve squat. No, I definitely would have been up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of good 75 kilo.
Like I said, man, if there's competition, why not?
Yeah, that's why I'm still pretty keen to jump in on the APL stuff.
Yeah, I like that. You might have to get that.
I still want to get I've still got some some things I want to do with wraps, but you know, like I don't know, in the longer term,
no reason you can't do both though.
Yeah, that's it. So
one of each.
I'll definitely do an APL comp coming up, I think. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Anything else from you?
No, man. It was a good fun competition. So looking forward to. We should mention maybe next comp's coming up.
Next comps we've got a handful, more than a handful. Up for what is it? The June novice. I think there's a couple at Ladies of Lifting.
Yep.
And then after that there'll be Perth Cup.
Yep.
Isn't there? So yeah, a couple of novices and then GPC Perth Cup. After that, that's too far ahead. We won't worry about that.
Yeah, push pull and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I missed that. So yeah, guys, thank you as always for listening. If you enjoyed the chat, tag us in a screenshot, do all those likey, sharey things. And yeah, we'll try and get Troy back on the podcast a little bit more often.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Peace.
See ya.